Assalamu alaikum, you're listening to UnityFM on 93.5. My name is Nasser Mahmood and this is the weekly review show. And today we have a special focus on education and specifically on institutes or organizations that have helped, supported, moved forward the cause of education in the UK and possibly around the world as well. I will be talking to shortly the Vice-President of the Federation of Student Islamic Societies, FOSIS, as it's commonly known, which has its annual conference soon and its 50-year anniversary. And also I'll be speaking to a gap year student who spent some time with FOSIS to experience some of the projects that they're doing. I just want to welcome Zain Malik. Assalamu alaikum, Zain.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
And also Sakina Fletcher.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sister Sakina. How are you, Zain? Are you okay? Did you find us all right here in Birmingham?
Fine,
you're originally from Leicester as well, aren't you?
I have just travelled up from Leicester, so I got here in good time.
Okay. Now, you're the Vice President of FOSIS, and FOSIS is an institution that was kindled in vintage area around here in 1963 when a small group of ambitious Islamic society leaders from across the country assembled in Birmingham with a grand and noble vision. It now represents over 115,000 Muslim students and empowers over 120 Islamic societies across the UK and Ireland. And it continues to help and empower Muslim students in a variety of fields: dawah, Islamic knowledge, politics, campaigns, media, academia, and much more. And it's been going for 50 years. Is that right?
Absolutely, yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about your role in FOSIS.
Sure. Myself, as Vice President of Islamic Societies in FOSIS, this year I'm on the legal practice course. I'm a student at the Montfort University, and I've graduated in law. So that's my academic background. Hobbies, I used to do karate. I did get to black belt, alhamdulillah, mountain trekking. And in FOSIS, if you would like me to go into, my role this year, it consists of two parts. The first part is managing and looking after our regional committees, making sure they perform and do what they're supposed to. So I act as a line manager for 7 regional committees, which include Ireland, Scotland, Midlands, the North, Wales and West, the South, England, and also London, and the good work that they do in helping them to serve their Islamic societies as much as possible. And the other part of my role involves coordinating and running national projects such as ISOC 101, which is a training, which is like a seminar that we run for ISOCs to help train them and to really help them to run an Islamic society. Also, ISOC mentoring, which we do as well to further help ISOCs, especially the new ones, to help really set up some new Islamic societies. This year we've set up quite a few new Islamic societies across the country. Furthermore, other projects that we do, such as Khatib training this year, to really help Muslim students on campus to run their own Jummah congregations and so on. And as well as one of our biggest projects that we do is the Quran campaign, which consists of a competition which happens nationally, and we have the finals inshallah at our 50th conference. We also had the Quran camp, which was held back in April, and I believe that it's going to be on TV in about half an hour on Islam Channel. I believe they're showing it right now. And also the Quran syllabus, which is a syllabus that we put for ISOCs to help them with tarbiyah, to help them improve themselves and to really rekindle the love of the Quran in their own circles and so on.
If I can bring Sister Sakina Fletcher in on that, because I know you took a gap year from your university degree, and you actually attended the Quran camp in Cardiff, is that right?
Yeah.
What made you want to join FOSIS first, and then you can tell us a little bit about the actual camp that you attended and what you did there?
Well, basically, I attended the annual conference in Manchester last year, and what really attracted me to FOSIS was the diversity of Muslim students who were there. So not only in terms of race, but in terms of school of thought, or even even beyond that. For instance, one of the sessions that they had was about is there a need to have more than one ISOC on campus? And so we had Sunni students, Shia students all coming together discussing how can we work together as Muslim students on campus, put our differences aside, and really focus on the big issues that we all agree on. And I really liked warmed to that idea. And then thereupon, finishing the conference, one of the sisters who was from the University of Birmingham contacted me, and she said, "Would you like to get involved with the Quran campaign?" And so I worked with Brother Zain in organising the Quran camp, and now I'm helping to organise the conference. So alhamdulillah, It's been a really good year.
What were your experiences at the Quran camp?
Alhamdulillah, it really. I think that it was really fun in the sense that it was quite small. So we had just small group size teaching, and we could really connect with the Quran. And so we had not only just the normal style lectures, but also workshops and things where we focused on Surah Al-Fatiha in particularly. And so each of our lectures was based on one ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha.
This is the mother of the surahs, I think they call it. Yeah.
Which I absolutely loved because, by the end of the camp, we realised, we really get our priorities wrong when we talk about Islam. We really forget the really big issues about what do we believe about Allah, what do we know about His mercy, what do we know about His forgiveness, and what do we know about guidance. So it was really iman refreshing.
Would you say, you mentioned about this conversation that's happening on university campuses about do you need different eye socks? Do you think that we tend to dilute our message and the strength of our message by constantly dividing ourselves into sort of different organizations or different, sorry, I didn't want to use the word sect, but do you think we tend to dilute our message to the mainstream non-Muslim community when we talk about Islam?
Yeah, I think when people, the first thing that they non-Muslims point to about Islam is that we can't agree about things, and so they see us from the outside in, and they say, "Oh, why do we want to join a religion that can't agree upon things?" And the first thing they always say is "Oh, religions cause so much war and dispute, so therefore I'm not going to consider religion at all." So yeah, I definitely agree.
Now, FOSIS, Zain Malik, you're the Vice President of FOSIS. It's played and continues to play an important role within the Muslim community. It has a rich history of religious, civic and political engagements in British and Irish society. And, you had some very sort of important people that have come through FOSIS. Can you give us a little bit of understanding of who the kind of people we're talking about?
I will start with somebody probably well known in Birmingham. Back in 1984, this person founded a charity here in Birmingham. I think it began with a donation of 20p. And that very person also at the same time was a student at the Islamic Society, a student at the University of Birmingham, involved with the Islamic Society at the University of Birmingham, and also involved on the executive level of FOSIS, on the National Executive Committee. And that person was Dr. Hani Al-Banna. He's just one of many people that have come through FOSIS. Even Jahangir Malik, the current director, is a FOSIS alumni. And furthermore, people such as the current president of Turkey, Abdullah Gül, came through FOSIS, was part of FOSIS during his time when he was studying in the UK. Also the founder of 1001 Inventions, Professor Salim Al-Hassani, was also come through FOSIS. Other such names I can mention are people who have attended our conferences, which is our annual conferences, and others who have attended. FOSIS is well known for its international speaker tours and bringing in notable names, and one of those was in 1965 was none other than Malcolm X.
I wasn't aware of that. That's fantastic to hear. So, he actually, how did that take place?
Well, I wasn't there at the time. Let's start with that.
Were you born at the time?
No, I wasn't. I was not around at the time. But I believe the founding fathers of FOSIS managed to bring him down to the UK. They took him to Manchester, Sheffield, Oxford, and also Birmingham. And since we're in Birmingham, I think this was one of the last places he visited. And I think he ate at a restaurant in Selly Oak restaurant. Maybe it's one of those. I'm not familiar with Birmingham. You can probably tell because of my accent. It's not Birmingham. So he came, he spoke, and
we're not going to hold that against you,
Okay, alhamdulillah, that's great. I can walk out free. So yeah, he was one of many speakers who have come. In the past, we've also had, again, before my time, the Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Didat. Is it doctor? It is up there.
Sheikh,
I think so. Is it
Doctor,
Sheikh,
yeah.
one of those. So, many big names have come through FOSIS, such as, not just people who have been part of FOSIS. Sakina, if you look at, she's just a gap year student. She just got involved in FOSIS, so I'm sure she's got a full lifetime left that she's going to be roped into FOSIS. And we'll see, we want to develop Muslim students and see where they come out at the end and really, develop the next generation of Muslim leaders. And that's part of the aim, and that's part of what we're trying to do, is to cultivate the Muslim students. So I mentioned, we've had many people come through, such as Dr. Hani, such as Professor Salim Hassani. Look at what they've gone on to do.
I'm particularly interested in Abdullah Gul, President of Turkey, and Anwar Ibrahim, former Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia.
Absolutely.
What was their connection?
They were also, I believe, on the executive level of FOSIS. They were, again, before my time, so I didn't have the opportunity to work with them at that time. My loss, I guess. They were involved. I don't know much, to be honest. I guess maybe that's needs more research in alumni, or maybe we can speak to all the people that are around.
Yeah, please carry on.
Sure, sorry. So their involvement in FOSIS, I like I said, I don't know much. So they're involved on the executive level, and look to where they've come. So they were part of FOSIS, and look at the sort of people that have come out of FOSIS and what FOSIS has produced through people being in FOSIS for maybe a year, maybe a few years, such as the President of Turkey, such as the Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, such as the founder of Islamic Relief, such as the founder of 1001 Inventions. And
the caliber of people is really, really high, isn't it?
I have another one that I could drop to you is Sayyid Qutb wrote Sayyid Qutb's book In the Shade of the Quran, which I'm sure some of our listeners would know of, or they might even have a copy of at home. Now, this person was in prison in Egypt, and he used to send his tafsir notes to FOSIS. He used to post them back in the 1960s or 70s, maybe 60s, to FOSIS. FOSIS then used to put it into a magazine, a magazine, one or two little bits about tafsir here and there. Over that time, they made a book, and that is the book that you can buy these days. And that was written up by, I think his name was, the name is there in my head, but I can't remember the full name, so it might come out wrong.
We can come back to that. Yeah. But you mentioned he was imprisoned, and he was imprisoned by the military dictatorship at the time, which evolved into the recent dictatorship of Hosni Mubarak, who came out of that military junta. Currently FOSIS is having their 50-year anniversary.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what he's hoping to achieve. Where is it going to take place?
Well, I'm going to hand it to Sakina because she's involved. She's got more time, I guess, than me as a gap year student. So I'm going to hand it over to her because she's one of the conference organisers who's doing a fantastic job. So she probably knows more than I actually would do. So over to you.
Yeah. Okay. With Zain. Well, basically, it aims to let students know about the history, like FOSIS, which was very nicely summarised by Zain, but also looking forward, like what are we doing, how are we going to change? I mean, a lot of the alumni were mentioned involved in charity work and in politics, but maybe our alumni can work in other fields, maybe like in academia or I don't know, in social sciences and other things, and looking at new opportunities. And one initiative that has also taken Muslim students by storm is Productive Muslim. I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but it's like that was run by Abu Productive, who was also a previous NEC member, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, so the conference aims to basically fill in the gaps in terms of lectures, because I know with the new formats like Halal Tube, people can access traditional style lectures quite easily these days, but with our workshops and our fringe sessions, which I'm coordinating for the conference, we aim to open up that dialogue between Muslim scholars and activists with students, so giving them that opportunity to share ideas and to question and facilitate that platform for debate, which you might not necessarily get in other conferences. And so that's what our ethos is basically about.
And where is it going to take place?
Inshallah.
It's from the 20. So what's the date? Is it 3-day conference?
It's a 4-day conference,
4-day
inshallah, yeah.
conference.
The first day is mainly assigned for our council, inshallah. So electing our new president and all that. But yeah, inshallah, from the 26th to 29th, so we have a mix of lectures from our speakers and integrating into that our fringe sessions. And you can find out more information on www.fosis50.com.
Okay. Repeat that website.
www.fosis50.com.
Okay, FOSIS is FOSIS.
Yeah, and then 50.com.
50.com.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of people will this conference be open to?
It is primarily aimed at Muslim students because we're having a lot of discussions about Muslim work on campus and interfaith discussion and things like that. But we have speakers coming from all over the globe and they're more than, and so on that basis we're opening our doors to whoever wishes to benefit from their company. And often when we do have our workshops and our small group discussions, when we have other people come from the community, it actually makes our discussions a lot more beneficial, because it's not just students talking about students, it's actually alumni and people who, graduates and other respected elders in the community offering their perspective on what Muslim students should be doing and what Muslim students should be focusing on in today's community.